Alrighty, so we're gonna do a quick video. I was originally gonna do an Asia session, but this shit looks too fucked up to even go by that. I'm gonna talk about overbought, oversold today, and how the markets have been a mess this week, and how basically if you're using overbought, oversold, it's just gonna screw you. We use value charts because it's the easiest to see with. Let's kill the color of the lines if we can. Red, yellow. Oh, I don't think I can actually. Let me see if I can. Delete. None. I don't think that's gonna do it. Nope, it's not. Now we'll just deal with it then. Oh, I'm at 6 and 4. Let me adjust that. Maybe that might be why. Duh. 8, 6, -6. We'll get going in just a second. -8. Okay, so what we're going to take a look at is, like, a lot of people use value charts, RSI, stochastics, blah, 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 for overbought, oversold to help them determine when a reversal is going to happen. So if we're looking at these charts, and I'm going to mark it with vertical lines, this will be kind of brief, but I did want to point it out because it's something you need to, before you get going for the day, instead of just jumping in and trading. I guess this would fall into your pre-trading prep. You want to check your freaking charts and make sure that how you trade works. Basically, look back on the screen, see if there's some trades you would have taken, and if they would have worked out. So we're going to do it strictly by, say, overbought, oversold, and we're going to take a look. So I'm going to mark every time we have an overbought, oversold, and then we're going to come back and look at it. So I'm going to mark it with a horizontal line, a horizontal red line, and I'll make it thinner because these are, fuck it. Or vertical line properties. I'm going to make it thinner, and we'll go with dashed. And so this was, if it's, I'm going to make it green if we're looking for a reversal upwards, and red if we're looking for a reversal downwards. And then we'll come check out how this works out for us today. And this should be one of the best, if you're trading overbought, oversold, this should be one of the first things you're looking at, is how is the market responding to overbought, oversold. And so it's going to take me a minute just to draw these in. Probably should have done this beforehand, but I was originally going to do a different subject until I saw this, and I figured Sunday would be better. And we got another one right here. So again, green would mean that we'd be looking to take a reversal upwards. Red will be a reversal downwards. If you're, like I said, an overbought, oversold trader. I'm going to mark, this is the first one that failed, so we'll mark it. And just from doing something as simple as this, it should show you that you shouldn't be looking at overbought, oversold, or taking it too much into consideration on a day like today. Hopefully this will make it nice and crystal clear for you. And if I'm just using value charts to mark the overbought, oversolds. So vertical line properties, this would be red. Then we'll take a look at one thing by adjusting value charts to see if that would bring it into sync. And if by doing either one of those it doesn't, then you pretty much have a day where you should be saying nope. You should be looking at some other way to trade. I think that's all of them. Yeah. Let me answer this Skype question real quick. Today I'm going to show why OBOS is failing. There we go. Sorry, I was answering some questions. And that's the link. Sorry, I'm telling them I'll announce time Sunday for the raid. I know when the babysitter will be here. Okay, so let's go back and look at this. I'm going to adjust this so we can see if those candles that I just marked off. So let's say the first thing you want to look at, this crap is lagging like 10 seconds. Yeah, it does lag like 10 seconds. Twitch is about a 2 to 3 second lag. That's what I use for streaming games. This one was lagging about 30 seconds until the old room died and I re-signed up and they gave me a server in Atlanta. Before it was just one generic US server. But, I mean, it's free and it's high quality and they let me do this because I can't broadcast this on Twitch, or I would. Because Twitch I love. Okay, so first thing you should be taking a look at every morning, like I've said in there, is like your pre-trading prep. We're just not even going to go into too much of that. Let me take some more shit off here. I don't want anyone distracted. We're going to look at overbought, oversold, and how is the freaking market reacting to it. That's all we want to see. And then from that we can say that this is going to be a pretty shitty day if you're taking that signal. So here's our first one. Here's the market moving. Overbought, oversold. So it is oversold. We'd be looking to take a call up. I am not talking about good setups or anything, confluence, screw all that. We're just looking at your basic principle of what you're getting an alert on. You're getting an alert when the market goes oversold or overbought. And let's mark how many of these would be successful trades, just trading overbought, oversold, to see what kind of percentage we're getting. So this one's a fail, right off the bat. No, no, no. Come to this one. Again, it is, what, overbought this time? This one does work out for us. Come down here. Most likely this one failed for us because yeah, it did fail. This candle closed lower, so unless you magically got an entry down there, it would have been fail. Not saying it can't be done, but I'm just going by what most likely would happen. Again, another. Once I mark them this way, I want it obvious what's on the screen here, not just a bunch of lines. You should, just by doing something as simple as this, you should be like, what the fuck, why would I trade this? And you should be looking at something else, going to demo, coming out live. What's our next one? It is a reversal. One would have worked out. And this one would have failed. Okay, so here's what we got. We got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 8 trades. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them were fail, 3 were win. So we're already below 50%. That's on overbought, oversold. Completely by itself. So that's my first indicator that, you know, I might not want to be trading this crap today because overbought, oversold isn't working. So what's the next thing we can look at to kind of confirm this? Is overbought, oversold even matching up with the candles? Like, is it moving in a somewhat reliable pattern? Does it make sense what's on the screen? Now, this will get a little more into it, but it's kind of like the second thing you want to look at. Sorry, I'm trying to drink coffee while we do this. Okay, so here's our candle. Let's just follow the candles now and what value chart's doing. Candle down, we're oversold. Value charts does follow this candle. The next one, candle drops even more, we get divergence. Divergence means this candle dropped, but value charts did not drop. Value charts would have had to came all the way down here to, let's see if I can draw it on here. Okay, this line's the bottom of where value charts hit. The next candle goes lower, but gets nowhere close to it. So we have a divergence. Next candle goes up a little bit, but actually ends up lower. Value charts never reflects the fact that it went lower than higher. And as you can see now, we're in a consolidation, and value charts kind of reflects that as it moves up and down. Value charts goes up here, overbought, oversold. That almost popped it, but then again it goes up, up, up. we get two downwards candles, divergence here, and then again we get our peak and it drops. So in this section, what we're seeing is we're seeing more divergence than we are seeing the indicator following the market. So again, there for me, that's a warning that this isn't the most reliable way to be trading. It's just strictly overbought, oversold right now. So I would be careful. If we follow it along again, and here's another thing that would worry me. We have a 4 candle spread in between overbought, oversold. But what's one of the things that what might be going on here, or what's one of the things that could be tossing everything off, is, let's see how far of a move from the top of this candle to the bottom of this candle. It's a 40 pip move. So what should we look at? How big are these candles? 16 pip and a 17 pip candle. So it doesn't look like it on your chart, but we have some rather large moving candles. So that's something you need to be aware of too. When things are out of whack, try to figure out why they're out of whack. So what can we see now is we know that we have some large candles compared to small. I mean, our small candles, that's a 4 pip candle right there, when typically that would look like a 1 to 2 pip candle, maybe a 3. That's a 10 pip candle right there. So can you see how the chart can kind of deceive you? I mean, these candles look like they're small, but we're looking at 4 to 5 pip, 10 pip candles here, and it doesn't look like the chart's moving that much, but the market is moving quite a bit. Here's a 40 pip drop right here, and if we go all the way down from its swing to, if I could here, 49.5 and 63.4, right here in the span of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Well, in an hour we had a 50 pip move in an hour. So now we're starting to understand why maybe the market's out of whack, because typically it does not move this much. Let's see. Maybe I could help explain it here. This was what chart? This is Euro USD. So let me take a look at something here, and I bet you I'm right that the number's higher than usual. Your ATR, your average trading range, or whatever you want to call it, the average movement for the day. Let's compare it and see what it looks like. AUD USD. While this is opening, we'll go look at that. AUD USD, same thing. Let's check real quick. What's our movement here? 29.5. So that's a little bit better. That's still a 10 pip candle. 8.4. These aren't as bad. They're a little bit more making sense. So right now we've got overbought, oversold. Went down here, up here. But look at this right here. And I'm going to mark it again. Here's overbought, oversold. Now let's look up here. We never really hit... it kind of does. But we never get our overbought. We get oversold, but not overbought. So something's weird in the markets. Does adjusting the candles on the value chart slow down at MT4? Yes, it does. I'll show you that in just one second. Okay, so what we're looking at here is overbought, oversold. Does it have any confluence? It just has a daily 50100. It's in the middle of the trading range. This is a no trade for you TA guys. We're not touching this. Why? It's in the middle of the 50s. It's in the middle of the Bollinger Bands. We have one confluence, and it broke higher. We do have a support resist area right here. I'm just going through a trade because it popped up of what I see. Support and resist right here where it could potentially drop down, but we only have one confluence on it, which is a daily 50100. We got a weekly pivot right above it with a round number. I personally would say wait for it to pop up there. It might drop, but just to be safe, I'd wait. Let's go back to your question. Value charts. Indicator list. If you go into it, this number here, VC bars to check, you can just drop it to 25, honestly. Unless you are checking like what I was doing, because if things look out of whack, then I would drop it up to 100, look at the chart, then you could drop it back down. Today, shit's out of whack. I mean, we know Yellen's speaking. We just had the bell. I don't recall what other... Let's see. The other thing I guess we could check is Forex Factory. I mean, see what kind of news there was for the day. Is there a reason things are out of whack? Mostly this week has just been funky. There was only news... The only news we had was Let's see. The high impact we had was right here. 3:30 a.m. Market should have been clear by now. We got 9 and 9:30 coming up. That's from my time. It's 8:56 where I'm at. Yellen testifies. Crude oil inventories, meh, they aren't going to matter too much for us. But the rest of the day is clear. We don't have any high or medium impact. Look tonight, just for you all, bank holiday in Japan and China. So that's something for you Asia traders to take into effect. Okay, so back to this. What was I doing? Oh yeah, for value charts, it does slow it down. Just going there, I adjust mine to 25. As you can see, someone came out with a new one, and I don't like it at all because it's not catching the swings as well. More on that later. I don't want to get off subject. Basically, what I was trying to show this morning, and if y'all have questions on it, let me know, was can we see how the market is slightly out of whack today? It's part of your pre-trade prep. Do it. If we want to simplify this, let's go to this template. We'll do TA min. What's some other ways you could check? So let's go to indicator list. We'll get rid of the fractals. Get value chart off there. And close. So we know value chart's out of whack. So what else could we look at? Let's look at support and resist. What's happening when it hits the Bollinger Bands? Is it responding nicely? So let's mark those. Now, since the reason I'm doing this is because we know overbought, oversold is failing us. So let's look at a couple others. I'm just going to mark these with no particular color. And we're going to look at each time it goes outside the Bollinger Band so we can see how that. And then we're going to come back and look at a couple other things. And that was a close outside. That one barely closed outside. And by doing something as simple as this, it should just show you what you should be doing. Okay, so next thing we're looking at is current market conditions. How's it responding to them? We went overbought, oversold. It was a fail. Now we're looking at Bollinger Bands and see how that goes. So let's mark them up. Went outside, closed. This was a good. And let's look at this. This was outside, closed. Bad. So we're taking a look at our second way we could be trading. First one has been a fail so far, which is overbought, oversold. Fail. Next one, fail. And next one was okay. Barely. Oh, that's an arrow up. I need a check mark. Okay, so I'm looking at first breach, and then I don't do it until an opposite direction breach is done, unless there's a big gap like this one. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades, 2 good, 3 bad. So again, it's about what we had before, 5 bad, 3 good. Now we've got 3 bad, 2 good. So we're maintaining about the same percentage. So we can see with Bollinger Bands, we're not going to have much luck there either. So even if we combined overbought, oversold with Bollinger Bands, we're probably still shit out of luck. So what's the next way we can trade? Any suggestions? Let's clear out Bollinger Bands, get them the hell out of there. So this is what I'm doing is showing how on some days when I say I'm not trading, this is why. You just do something as simple as this. Okay, so indicators, let's remove. So far we've checked Bollinger Bands and value charts. Let's get them off there. What do we have left? We have fractals, and we have round numbers. Basically, we confluence, things like that. Okay, so here, and we're just going to look. Here was fractals. Price closed below it. Did it? Yes, it did. So this would have been a warning candle. And we have the daily open. So daily open here, popped above it, and it dropped down a little bit. So possibly. I'm not going to mark these yet. Well, I'm just going to mark everything I see right now. There's a possible one. Price came back down through. Possible. So that does it for daily opens. There was 2 of them, 50-50 on that. Now it's below it, so we can, and I'm not going to look back on it really. I'm just showing the different things you can be looking at. Price, let's follow it down, blah, blah, blah. Here's a fractal. It also broke below it. And here. This, for me, what do we have? We have a warning candle. It's ambiguous, but it shows a potential move down. So, now moving along. Price never gets up to the fractal. It does get to the fractal here, breaks it lower. This, not saying trades, this is just something you should be looking at. And it ran back down. Okay, so it comes up here. This one's holding, is what we need to notice. So this area here so far is holding. Price is holding here at it, see? Price comes down. Here's our previous fractal over here. We might have had a possible reversal here. This might be getting a little bit weird for y'all, but I'm just looking. This is how I look at the charts. The fractal would have been here, and it would have been a breach below, and then here could have possibly been. It's just, this is all flat and consolidation, so it's hard to take these into account, but it's something that you might want to look at, because we had a fractal and a fractal back here. Price comes above the fractal here, and it holds and reverses. We'll go back and look at it in a second to see if we can see why. Price again comes down to this one, breaches through it. This is where it gets kind of complicated when you're looking at fractals. When the market doesn't have good structure, which this is what I'm hoping to show you, shit can get super complicated. If it gets too complicated, fuck it, don't trade. We already know that 2 out of the ways we looked at are not working. So what we're trying to do is narrow it down. Is something going to work for us? So far, we haven't seen anything work for us. Let's continue down. We had a fractal here. And a breach here. Okay, and we had one come up. Okay, so all these lines for me are somewhat... It's a multi-time frame fractal. Did you want a copy of it? And if you're watching the recording, we have a chat room going on the side. It's an MTF fractal. Let me see if I have it real quick, and I'll send you a link to it. MTF fractal EX4 file. That looks weird. Okay, cool. Yeah, because that one, look at the icon on it. It's black. It doesn't look right. Or this is an EX4 and it has its own little... I don't know. Fuck it. Okay, so what we're explaining, if you just jumped in, so far what we checked is overbought, oversold's failing. If you're watching the recording, you'll get to see it. We're looking at the market conditions. Overbought, oversold's failing. Bollinger Bands are failing. So next we're taking a look at fractals. What we can see by fractals is, because of the chart structure, they're just a freaking mess. This for me is too goddamn complicated. So, do we have any questions on why the fractals are a mess? I mean, the fractals are breaking here. We don't have any structure, so it's not making sense. Do you see ABC patterns clearly? I don't either. I don't. So, for me, screw it. This is a no-go. So now we've looked at overbought, oversold, Bollinger Bands, and fractals. The fractals would be considered swing high, swing lows. So far, those 3 have failed. So let's get to here, template, go back to this, and we'll clear out my lines, and let's remove everything we've used so far. So value charts failed, Bollinger Bands failed, fractals, too much of a goddamn mess to use. Next, what do we have? We can look at confluence levels. Do we have confluence out here? The only thing I'm seeing is a small round number in this. So let's draw a line in the middle of it. And then let's look, after we did the simple one, small round number, middle of it. This previous weekly high-low. So let's just drop it right here in the middle of the 3. This is the only confluence I see, is we have a previous weekly high, a small round number, and this. Pen. We have this, this is the only institutional confluence I really see out there. Everything else, a little bit too far apart, and again, a little bit too far apart. Hopefully y'all saw that. Possibly here with the Murray and the Daily Open. Now, next thing we're going to do, let's check for support and resist levels, and we'll draw some lines there. I do switch to, when I'm checking support and resist, I tell everyone this is the easiest way. Up top, switch to your line chart. And this is a institutional type one, so let's switch to a different color when we draw these. And let's see what we get out of this. So let's change this one. We're going to go with yellow for these. So the green one is an institutional. Yellow is going to be just plain old support and resist. See what we can find. And if we look, again, nothing's really pretty out. I could pick a middle here, but look at how tight that is. We have a bottom here. But when I'm having difficulties picking support and resist, I mean, I can see it, but nothing is pretty. And let's just draw the top up here. Let's zoom out one and see if there's anything else we could see. I might want to do this one just a little bit higher. Okay, so do we... it depends. When I'm looking at the 5 minute and nothing's matching up right now, I don't even bother going higher. I like to, since I'm trading on the 5 minute, the first thing I like to see is the 5 minute making sense. If the 5 minutes making sense, screw bins. I'll switch over to scalping and I'll see if I can find something there. But if I can't, and I'll show you in just a second what my next step is. But this is what we find on the 5 minute. We've blown through almost everything we can possibly look at to trade with, and nothing's really working. So what can we conclude here is the market's a fucking mess. Would you be smart to try and trade binary options in this? No, you'd be pretty freaking stupid. So hopefully that's what you got out of this. Did everyone, well, some of y'all came in late, but does everyone see, and that's template. Did everyone see how it... Now, if we would have been doing this full speed, it probably would have taken us like 5 minutes to get through all that to determine we have really no possibilities to trade. What we could do is set a couple traps on the market. But other than that, this is Euro USD. Should we be touching it? No, we shouldn't, because nothing is working. Overbought, oversold is out of sync. Bollinger Band's out of sync. Swing high, swing low. M fractals, out of sync. Institutional level, we only had one that we could clearly identify, and support and resist is there, but it's so tight that it doesn't really matter. If we look at the big picture, market's going flat, drop, and if it goes as expected other than Yellen's speech, it would go flat for a little bit and drop. That does tell us there's a possibility of identifying these ranges. But for me, how I do ABC patterns to identify a range, I can't even identify the potential that these ranges are there because I'm not getting any ABC patterns to help me identify early enough to say, well, this is the high of the range, this is the low of the range. There's just not enough market structure today for me to dick with Euro USD. Now, some of you would say, well, fuck it, I can try it. And these are the type of days where your ITM percentage is just going to drop and go to shit. Some people might be able to trade this, but for me personally, it's a no-no. It's a no-no, so what's my next step then? Let's go to template, and let's go back to it. We'll look at it on TA so it doesn't confuse anyone. I'll bump up a time frame now. Let's look at 15 minute. Does it look any better on the 15 minute? Not really. Look at this big old consolidation group. Now for this consolidation group, do we have an ABC pattern that can help us identify? What I'm talking about is, and I did this in a previous video, if we have an ABC pattern, the C down can show me which way the market's going, and the AB identifies my range to trade in. I don't have an ABC pattern to identify a range. 1, 2, you have a possible one. See, and just so you can see it,